Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Miel Hebraica, Hebrew Honey. And today I'm finishing up a series of uh, Malakim Alef 19. That's the 19th chapter of First Kings. And these are the verses 19 through 21. It's just three verses, somewhat longer verses, interesting verses here at the end. I could have combined this with the previous video, but it would have been a little bit long, so two shorter videos. So this should be hopefully a shorter video. And So we get into First Kings 19:19. Elijah left there and found Elisha, son of Shaphat, as he was plowing. 12 teams of oxen were in front of him, and he was with the 12th team. Elijah walked beside him, and threw his mantle over him. Vayelech, and then he went. Misham. Misham is from there, that is from Mount Horeb. This is a continuation of the previous story. And so he came in from Mount Horeb. Yishva Vayimsa, and he found, Elisha, and he found Elisha. God hears. Yimsha ben Shaphat, son of Shaphat, Vehu Horesh, and he was plowing. He was making furrows. Sometimes when you're going to torture somebody, you make furrows on their back, but here he was making furrows in the ground with some cattle here with some oxen. Vehu Horesh. Incidentally, to have him plowing with these many animals means that Abel Mecholah was a place that could use animals that were plowing ground there, and it had soft enough ground for plowing, and so you had all of these animals working there at Abel Mecholah. Shnei Masar, Shimadim. This is Shnei is 2, Asad is 10, so it's 2 and 10. So in Hebrew, just like German and Dutch, your smaller number, at least in the teens, there go before. So Shnei Masar. So the 2 and 10. Shnei Masar. It's all one word together, held together with all pronounced together with the makef here. No accenting on here, which is to be expected. So Shnei Masar, 2 and 10. Shemadim, these are oxen. Lifnav, in front of him. Vehu, and he be Shenim, and he was Shinem, Bishnem, He Asar, and he on the second and 12th one at the end. So he was with the last one, the last pair. So the other teams were working ahead of him, and he was with the very last pair. Quite an operation to have this many teams of oxen operating. Most traveled a lot in the Middle East, and you don't see large groups of animals. You see a few working at a time. It takes a lot of effort and work to take care of animals. So to have this many animals means that this was kind of a big business here. And so it was a big step here for Elisha to do what he did afterwards. Ve'abor, and then he crossed over, came up beside Be'abor to cross over. This you find this quite often, crossing the Jordan, crossing one side to the other, crossing the Jezreel. Eliyahu crossed over, Elav over to him. Shalach, and he tossed, he threw. Shalach is part of a family of nouns in Hebrew, to toss or to carry away, or shalaf, shalaf. You have different, but many of them sound very much the same. Yeshalach. Ader to, his mantle. He threw his mantle, elav, over top of him. Mantle is very symbolic. This is a symbol of the authority, symbol of the responsibility, symbol of what you're doing. And this mantle gets a lot of use. It has already had use. It covered Elijah as he was standing at the mountain, had covered his face when he went face to face with God. Now it's something that he will be passing on from himself onto Elisha. So when you throw your mantle across from one to the other, you're passing on the baton. You're passing on the responsibility of what you've been doing, and another person takes that on. And Elisha left the oxen, ran to follow Elijah, and he said, "Please let me kiss my father and mother, and then I will follow you." "Go back," he replied, "for what have I done to you?" Yashov, okay, Yashov, and he abandoned. Ashav is a very well-known verb to abandon something. When a young man gets married to his wife, he will abandon his father's mother. Yashav, Ima, he will abandon. Here he is apparently, abandoning father and mother too. But he will abandon, and so he left the oxen. Yashav, El Habakar, he left the oxen. Yaratz, and then he ran, ratz, to race, ratz, okay, so very automatic pia here, really sounds, the verb really does sound like the action here. Yaratz, achere, after, behind, Eliyahu went after Eliyahu, Vayomer, and he said, Ezekachna, I would like to kiss, please, okay, le'aviv le'imi, to my father and to my mother. One way of remembering the word kiss is just taking this shin, which is tooth, and then when you're kissing, yes, your tooth appears at the kiss, okay? So, eshika, na, I kiss, please. And in the first chapter of Ruth, when Orpah is saying goodbye to Naomi, and they're a teary farewell and so forth, but what happens, Orpah kisses Ruth, and this is simply as a Middle Eastern way of saying, hey, goodbye, out of here. So, yishka, okay, now. And so he kissed her, and kissed shaka, na. He kiss, I would like to kiss, please. Okay, this is a hortatory na, okay. So, yishka, na. Le'aviv, to my father, La'ima, and imi, and to my mother, imi. Be echala acherecha, and then I will walk after, behind you, acherecha, behind you. Vayomer, and he said, lo, to him, lech, go. Now this is elecha. This is I will walk after you. The root here is he lamed kaf. And that's the very same root as this one, lamed kaf. This one is I will go, and lech is to go, okay, to walk, go walk, okay, to go. And so it's very same. It's a very same base, okay, very same root right here. This one is I will go, and this one's simply an imperative, go. Shuv, return. Ki me asiti, because what have I done? Lach, to you. What have I done to you? So these two words seem very similar. Lach, they do have a different vowel here, but lamed kaf, in an unpointed text, it would be exactly the same. But this one is go, walk, and this one is lach, to you. This preposition, towards, for, and this is the suffix pronoun, second person singular, lach, to you. Okay, what have I done for you or to you? So he turned back from following. He took the team of oxen, slaughtered them with the oxen's wooden yoke and plow. He cooked the meat, gave it to the people, and they ate. And then he left and he followed Elijah and he served him. Yashav, and he returned. Me'acharav, from behind him, from after him. Me'acharav, this is from. Me is the preposition from. Acher is to be behind or after. Acharav, and after him. This is a pronoun here at the end. Acharav, after him. Yikach, and he took. The root here would be lamed kof chet. The lamed, of course, has been assimilated. It's disappeared, but in its place we find a yod right here. This is third person, and then he took. He took. It Shemet, the team. Habakar. the oxen. Va yishbahehu. The root zayin bet chet is to sacrifice. Okay, and then this is the third person prefix here for pronoun, and he sacrificed them. Okay, sacrificed the animals right here, the bakar. So he sacrificed them. Okay, he sacrificed them. Apparently, somewhat of a religious experience here, and also to take all of these animals. Animals were very valuable. Animals were, useful for work. Of course, that's what they're being used for. And to do this was a huge step. He was definitely burning his bridges behind him. Okay, this is it. All of these animals. I'm not sure he must have had quite a lot of authority to do this, because he didn't seem to be much of a fight with the family. But yeah, this was a huge step on his part to have slaughter all of these animals and then head on to something different in his life. Bekili, and with the kali are the things, the yoke and the plow and so forth. Kali is a word that's used for a lot of things: the luggage, used for your cutlery, used for your arms and so forth. So it's got an extensive use. And then based on the context here, these were the wooden things that were available then for cooking the meat. In other words, it was a full-out step. He wouldn't have the animals, and he wouldn't have the plow and yoke anymore either. Those are somewhat hard to come by in the Middle East. Finding wood over there, although close to the Jordan Valley, might be better sources of wood. But yeah, finding wood for making plows and stuff was kind of a hard task. So this is a big step on his part. V'yikali habakar, and then he used the cooked the meat. Beshalem, he prepared the meat. Okay, and he took the yoke and the plow, bakar, beshalam, and then he prepared habashar, and then he prepared the meat. Okay, shalom here is very obviously derived from shalom. Okay, peace, made peace with the meat. Shalom, the verb shalom, when you're doing something that is doing the right thing, you're doing shalom. In other words, shalom brings on shalom. So what you have here is beshalem. He cooked, he prepared, he made shalom of the meat, bashar. Okay, so he fixed up all the meat to serve it up to the people. Vayaten la'am, and he gave it to the people. Va yochalu, and they ate, and they had a great feast there. 12 teams of oxen. Wow, that's quite a passel of animals there. Vayochalu, vayakom, and he got up. Vayelech, and then he walked, and he went. Achre, after or behind, followed. Eliyahu, v'yeshar tehu, and he served him. He served him. So this is, you have to remember, Elijah had left his previous servant over in Beersheba, and so he'd gone by himself down to Horeb, then he'd returned by himself. Now he meets Elisha again here. God had told him about Elisha there in Mount Horeb, so he knew who he had to talk to. God apparently was preparing Elisha for this, because you don't hear much argument as to doing this, destroying the animals and eating them and so forth. It's something that apparently Elisha was very much prepared to do. So, and then he went and served him, Yishar Tehu. This isn't not just service, it was apprenticeship. It was time of getting to know the ropes, getting to know what it means to be a prophet of God, life of prayer, life of service, a life of teaching and so forth. And so it's really one of the best ways to get into ministry is to be an apprentice to someone else who is in ministry, and then proceed from there into the service that God is preparing for us. So yes, beautiful story here. Big things have to happen, because Ahab's time on this earth is coming short, and then things have to change. So God is sending his people over to make those changes. So God bless you, and God strengthen you, and you be of service in his kingdom. Until the next time.